manuals, simulations, which again would help students and fraternity who is trying to become entrepreneur. So this option is also open there for everybody. So I have a presentation, and through that presentation, I will be interacting with you. It is basically the presentation I'm going to make. I have developed over the years, and as Dr. Bharti just mentioned that it is about the model. So yes, from many years, and while interacting with faculty members and my own experience at EDII and teaching entrepreneurship in a couple of other places, I have developed this. So we'll have the presentation, and then I would also like to interact with you. I would like to have your questions so that we both can learn and can take this journey of learning further. I hope this is visible to everybody. Just I need your comment whether it's visible. Anybody can respond me.
It is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether this is full screen or not. Is it full screen?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. No.
I'm trying to make it full screen so that.
Yes, now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for the point. So this is about entrepreneurship teaching models. What all can be done when we are doing an entrepreneurship course as a faculty? As a faculty, we have many responsibilities, including teaching, including mentoring, guidance, support, hand-holding. All these things are there when we are teaching entrepreneurship. It is just unlike other courses where we have very limited rules. And that is why entrepreneurship is very important for the whole globe. I'll be starting my presentation. First slide. I think there is some problem. Is it visible, the first slide?
Yes, sir.
There is a graph and there is historical data. Is that visible?
No, not yet, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go with this manner only. So I'm going to talk a bit about the historical data of our own country. Why it is important, I will also tell you.
Sir, please put it in slideshow mode.
When I'm putting it slideshow mode, there is I'm getting it's a bit difficult to change the slide. I don't know. That is the problem with this Cisco. Is it slide mode now? Is it slide mode? I have some difficulty. So please bear with me.
Okay, sir.
Sir, you place a F5 and it will come.
F5 I have done. It is not.
But partially the screen is disappearing, sir, because in the portions, the top corner and left, maybe the bottom, the corner.
I think some network issue, I think, sir.
Maybe, sir. Maybe. But maybe.
No, this is a problem. This Cisco thing.
I think this is fine, Amit.
Huh? Yes. Dr. Bharti, there is a problem in this, as I mentioned yesterday also, it's very difficult to manage on this Cisco.
You can share without slideshow. You can share.
Tatava.
And then we will
Koddhiga ammaki coffee.
It is hang.
without slideshow it is visible.
No, I'm not able to operate it at all. It's the problem.
You can stop the screen sharing and restart the screen sharing.
Okay.
Amit, Amit, Amit. छोड़ दो तुम सेकंड हाफ में लो क्लास sorry for inconvenient. There is some problem in network. Amit will again rejoin. Somebody has sent the message. Do we have to fill feedback form every? No. At the end of program, once I will submit your attendance and your test result, then AICT will send you feedback link. From that link, you are supposed to give feedback. Once you will complete the feedback, then AICT will issue certificate. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Upon the completion of, once I submit your attendance and test marks, then AIST will generate feedback and it will directly send to you in your login ID. And once you submit the feedback, then AIST will issue certificate. So you don't need to give feedback each day. Because Amit Dwivedi working from home due to some region, and that's why he has some problem in network, I think. Because Webex is not very friendly. Zoom is very friendly, but people are not using Zoom. I don't know why. So let's see, wait for a couple of minutes. If he is not able to rejoin, then we'll go for the another session. Amit, if you have problem, I'll send Zoom link after lunch.
Hello.
Yeah. Amit, if you have problem, I'll send Zoom link for you after lunch.
Am I audible this time?
This time you are available.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, just 1 second. Is this visible to everybody?
Yes.
Is this visible full screen?
Yeah, full screen.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Now we'll go ahead with this this presentation. Sorry for this interruption, and it is the technology that helps us a lot, but sometimes it also creates some problems. So in this presentation, I'm going to talk about the models, as I just mentioned now. Please see this slide. I hope this is visible to everybody. This slide talks about the condition of Indian trade of India in century 1 onwards. Why I'm referring this slide? Because it talks a lot about the entrepreneurship journey of the country. A lot. In past 2000 years, how we have transacted to the whole world. See, in century 1, this was the country which was leading the world's GDP share. About 30% plus share was from GDP, from India on GDP. And even many countries were not there at all, which we are following today. I will not name those countries, but we are following those countries today which were not there at all. Why we were leading and what has happened to the country, and now we all know the situation of our trade, business, and entrepreneurship. Why I am putting this slide? Because this tells us a lot what has been the lapses in the field of entrepreneurship education or business education, and why we could not regain the same position. I was browsing through the literature, the old Indian literature, that talks about the education system. When I'm talking about education, it is the complete education system, nothing to do with entrepreneurship. And it was a mammoth education system that we had. And that is why we had a contribution of more than 30% in the world's GDP share. This was the situation. See here, it was a holistic education. Everything was so holistic. Value-based education. The education which was imparted from the campuses had a base of values. Self-discipline. This was also taught. Now, you can easily relate these things with entrepreneurship education as well. Logical thinking. Then problem solving. Today also we are talking a lot in entrepreneurship, the problem solving aptitude. Ultimately the peace, stakeholders interaction, sacrifice, risk and return. These all things were there in almost every education discipline that you had today in this country. The 5 important pillars were observation, through observation what you can do, experimentation, So being experimental, being on campus, innovative, always thinking something which is not there and how to solve that problem with a different approach, with a different resources, with different kind of management. Skill-based. Education was always skill-based. Today we are listening a lot about skill-based, but no, it was there earlier. The whole education was skill-based. After education, people used to know how to live their lives with the help of learnings from the campuses and the resources management. These 5 pillars were there when I was referring a lot of literature pertaining to Indian literature. And this was the crux that I found and understanding education in the past. And these both the slides, the first slide where we have seen the contribution of India's trade, and this slide where we are seeing why that contribution was. Why it was 33%? Because of this kind of education. And that is why we need entrepreneurs. We need entrepreneurs because the entrepreneur has to utilize everything which is given there in the slide. Everything. It means when you are making a person doctor, he may be utilizing a few things. But when you are making a person entrepreneur, he has to utilize the full capabilities, whatever he has in his mindset, whatever he can do, everything he utilizes. And that is why we need entrepreneurship in the air. It enhances the self-confidence and skills. When we have entrepreneurs, when you see entrepreneurs, they always have the higher self-confidence because they know that whatever I'm going to make for the public, and I have that guts to sell it. I have that guts to get the support from others, from the government, from the financials, from the institutions, from the policies, from the business development network. Everybody will help that confidence building. Will again come if we have many entrepreneurs. Skills, of course, because he is the person who knows everything about his business. I'm going to come about that slide as well. We should know how to sense the opportunity that has a value. Very, very important segment of entrepreneurship. I'm just creating an overview so that we can discuss about educational part. Sensing opportunity that has a value. I will share one small story here that I always share. We all know about Professor Muhammad Yunus from Bangladesh, Nobel laureate, a professor who got Nobel laureate for peace. That is again unique thing. And the work, it is loud and clear, the work that he has done. The story is like that. A professor visiting nearby areas in the university, Chittagong University, learned that women making bamboo baskets in the village area not getting enough money, not even getting the value of their labor. Why? Because they're not in a position to control resources. The resource control is somewhere else. Someone else is providing the raw material, and these women, they need to make the baskets, just gets a very small portion of the whole revenue part. The problem is not getting the surplus revenue. The problem is they are not in a position to own the resources. When we have a lot of financial institutions, Professor Yunus asked, why don't you buy your own material? He replied, no, we don't have money to buy it. He asked, why don't you buy it? You go back, take the money and buy your own material, then you will have enough control on resources and the surplus will be yours. They replied, a very unique reply they made. Professor Yunus, banks give money to those who have money. Banks give money to those who have collateral. We don't have anything to mortgage. We don't have anything to give as a collector to the banks. Mohammed Yunus told, no, we'll talk to banker. Please come with me. They all went. Banker replied, again, very unique answer. Sir, you are the professor of economics. You know that this is not our money. This is a money saved by somebody else. And we are responsible to save the money, safeguard the money. And we can give only if we have collector. Banker was right. Then Mohammed Yunus identified one opportunity there. I'm talking about sensing opportunity. That has a value. Identified that opportunity that yes, there is a mechanism to be developed which can support all those who do not have collectors. That is how the microcredit, we all know microfinance, came into picture very seriously, and it impacted across the globe. Across the globe, all those developing countries like Southeast Asia, Africa, India, they were benefited like anything. A professor has identified a unique opportunity. He had that understanding how to sense opportunity, which has a value, and it has flourished like anything. What I'm trying to say here, entrepreneur doesn't mean that he is a person who's going to do business. No, that is a very small meaning of entrepreneurship. When we are teaching entrepreneurship in our classroom, we should clarify that in the beginning itself. Hey, students, it is nothing to do with business which has surplus, money, profit, loss. Certainly it is the outcome. It is the number is the follower. Number is always the follower. They follow. If you have a right proposition, they will follow automatically. But you need to know how to create value, how to sense opportunity which has a value. Another example again here. My friends, those who have joined this session from down south, they must have heard about Dr. VG, Arvind Eye Care. Again, very unique example of entrepreneurship. Dr. VG, who is a eye surgeon, eye healthcare. After his retirement, he thought that I should do something for all those who are having cataract issues. Cataract is a major issue in the old age. He thought how to solve it. Everybody, whether he has money or no money or huge money, everybody is going to face this problem. How to solve this problem? I should do something creative which can help solving this problem. Developed a very unique model. The model is those who have money can sponsor the surgery of those who do not have money. How beautiful the model is. How beautiful the model is. Means if I have money, I can pay the full amount of my surgery. While paying the full amount, I'm helping a person who's not having money. Because the Arvind Eye Care is going to use my surplus money to solve a problem of other person. This is the unique model. Lots of cases are written. We all know that. Harvard, all those big schools. They authored a lot of cases on this Arvind Eye Care. Learning, creativity, imagination, and innovation. Again, entrepreneur Dr. VG is not a business person. He's a social entrepreneur. He identified a problem in the society and he acted upon that very systematically with the help of people, with the help of resources that he can manage. And he's done that. He has created a lot of institutions, livelihood, and he has achieved his desired goals that at some extent he has solved the problems of old age people wherever he can. Becoming interdependent. Becoming interdependent. Entrepreneurs are always interdependent. They are not independent. They always are interdependent. You depend upon me, I depend upon you. And that is why we need entrepreneurship. Now, we'll go to the, now this I wanted to set a tone of my presentation. Now it will go quite smooth. So I thought that I should give one overview so that we all can have the same mindset to learn these slides. Now teaching part. What we all do lectures, we do study visits, we do assignments, we do non-IT simulations, we do expert interactions, and many more things. These all we do. But these all we do in many courses. When we teach management, again we do these things. We do medicals, again we do these things. With technology, again we do the same things. Why this is unique then? What all we are doing here? We are doing the same thing. They are being done everywhere. And we are expecting that a person will become entrepreneur, he will leave his liberty, he will invest the money, he will think about the risk. All those things he will manage for a future which is not known. Do you think the same pedagogy, the same style, the same delivery mode, the same content will do? No, it will not do. Because it is not easy. It is very difficult to make a person entrepreneur. It is very easy to make a person doctor after the medical course. It is very easy to teach guitar and other instruments. Person will be musician like anything. A manager we can make, engineer we can make, but we cannot make entrepreneur just by doing all those things which we all are doing in other courses. It is not possible. Why I'm saying this? Because we have seen that at EDII. We have done different things. And we know many schools, they are doing different things just to make people entrepreneur. Why? This is the slide that will tell why the similar approach will not work. Here, you are making a person who should know innovation, who should be very, very much aware about the ideas, how to sense the ideas, how to acquire customers, how to know the taxation, you should be paying taxes, how to know the law and statutory requirements, fundings, financial management, accounting, organizational behavior, competencies, growth plans, business modeling, and business plans. These all he is going to practice day and night in his business. And we are assuming that just by lecturing, just by some study visits, some interactions, some simulations, we are going to make a person entrepreneur and he will manage all these things at his venture. No, it cannot happen in that manner. If it is so easy, then we can make everybody entrepreneur. With every education style, we can make people entrepreneur. It is not that easy. It is very, very difficult. And that is why we need a systematic approach. A systematic approach is needed to inculcate all these things in a person who can be entrepreneur, who can simply manage his accounting. He or she can understand the taxation. Because to start some new enterprise, you cannot hire all these people. You have very limited money. You have very limited resources. You cannot hire for every function a new person. No. Initially, you need to handle all these things by your own or with a small team. And that is why making a person entrepreneur is not that easy. It's not the similar ways we are following in the management courses or in engineering courses. This slide, every time I ask a participants to read and then tell us which one we all are following, the deductive approach or the inductive approach, because this tells a lot. This slide tells a lot. I will give 2 minutes time to please read, and then I will discuss on that, and then we'll go to the further discussions. Please go through. I'm getting responses also. People are writing me in the message box. I would like to listen. I would like to see your comments. Which one we are following and which one we should follow? Which one we should follow? Everybody is saying that inductive learning method to be followed. And which one we are not following? Which one we are following? We are following deductive method mostly. Not all, but mostly we are following deductive method. Unnecessarily we are coming into the picture as a faculty member. Some lessons they should learn by their own. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, most of the lessons they should learn by their own. Most of the lessons I'm telling here, the maximum part should be hands-on. The maximum part should be hands-on. Why? Because when they are going back and starting their own venture, they hardly get mentors. When a manager goes and joins a firm, he has a boss to guide and mentor. Even he is an entrepreneur, the super boss, guide and mentor. But when you are going to start your own venture, who is the boss? You are the boss. Who will mentor you? If you are fortunate, you will get some mentors, some consultants. But all people are not fortunate. In that case, you have to handle everything. And you can handle everything only if you have hands-on experiences. That is why the hands-on experience to be given during the course itself, so that when he or she goes back, starts his or her venture, should start with very systematic approach and should not fail several times. Of course, I'm not saying that people will not fail, they will fail, but will not fail several times and will handle most of the things by a small team, or himself can manage that. Now, I'm sharing a slide of learning approach here. A learning approach. The learning approach says that there is a learning of hands-on, minds-on, applied, theoretical, active, and reflective. These all are the ways, these all are the canvas, a big canvas, where we all are teaching. When you want to change the skill and attitude of the student, skill and attitude of the student, you must have approach of hands-on and applied. Hands-on and applied. And what you can do here, few examples are, you can have role plays, you can have simulations, you can have structured applications, you can have students incubators. These are the ways, and there are many other ways. I'm not saying that these are the only ways. There are many other ways. You can devise your own, you can develop your own thing. But whenever you want to change the skill and attitude of the student, must apply hands-on and applied learning in the classroom. Next one, minds-on and applied. When you want to change the appreciation of the student, of the kid, you need to apply minds-on and applied. What you can do, you can use videos, movies, diaries, demonstrations, case examples, interactions as well. Because these things changes the insight, the understanding about the subject, about the context. So minds-on and applied, theoretical and reflective. When you want to change the knowledge of the student, like if you want to discuss some theory, if you want to discuss some model, if you want to discuss some numericals, which is going to again help him understand that particular context of theory. In that sense, you have to apply the reflective and theoretical approach. So here you can have lectures, you can give some readings, you can have some case study discussions. You can also give some research papers, theory papers to read and refer. This is again important because abstract conceptualization you are going to put here. Then active and theoretical changes the understanding, the broader understanding of the student. You can ask them to work in the teams. You can ask them to work for some market research interventions, some experiments they can do, some analysis they can present, and they can also go for entrepreneurial audit. They can take a firm which is not doing well, they can go and audit the whole firm, and they can learn that these were the things not properly placed in the firm, and that is why the firm is not operating properly. This is basically a learning approach developed by scholars. I'm just presenting here, but it is very, very much unique when you want to develop a good course. Now, how to use this? Basically, when you're developing a course curriculum, when you're developing an outline, course outline, every time you should think about how this course is going to help to the student and what all we should learn towards the end of this course. Means you want to see the behavioral change in the student, the change in the mindset, the change in the understanding, the change in the knowledge. All these things you want to see after this course is over. Hence, accordingly, you have to plan the pedagogy as well. That for this particular topic, I'm going to use a research paper. For this particular topic, I'm going to use a simulation. For this particular topic, I'm going to use a case. For this particular topic, I'm going to invite one entrepreneur from outside. For this particular topic, I'm going to send my students to go and audit one firm and come back. I hope I'm clear here. I hope I have explained this slide, and you have taken the insights which you can again use while developing the course outlines. So this learning approach is very, very, because whatever we teach in the class should have a part of the broader canvas of approach. Because every course cannot change the skill, every course cannot change the understanding. But whenever we are designing the course outlines, we should think seriously about how this course is going to impact the student, and to see the impact, what would be the right kind of approach to deliver this course. Now, when we see the streams, entrepreneurship education streams, we have two broader areas. One is a new enterprise creation, the other one is existing enterprises. New enterprise creation, when I say, mostly we are talking about startups, and it is quite a buzzword and everybody's talking about in detail. People are also starting SMEs, manufacturing plants and some small mills and all. startups and SMEs. These are the new enterprises. We have a great chunk of family businesses. Huge. Please refer the stock market listed companies. How many of them are coming from family businesses? A huge chunk come from family business. So when we teach entrepreneurship, I'm pretty sure that more than 90% professors, like me also, focusing a lot on new enterprises rather existing businesses. But when we see the capital formation part of the economy, the broader canvas of employment and the labor being handled mostly by existing enterprises, means they are the best employers. The huge number of employments are being created by existing enterprises. But we are not focusing. So through this slide, I just want to highlight that whenever we run a course, entrepreneurship course, we focus together on new enterprise creation and existing business. We should highlight both the areas, both the streams in our courses, because we don't know which student has a family business, and if he should be groomed properly, he can go for expansion, he can go for a addition in many new units. That part also is to be taken care. And the corporate venturing is a new thing which has come up in recent past. But it says that the family businesses are also trying to identify newer areas where they can invest. We all know that Mr. Ambani, I'm talking about Mr. Dhirubhai Ambani, who's no more, very legendary entrepreneur, started with some different kind of business altogether. His kids are into different business. Now even the third generation is going to have a different business. What I'm trying to say here is businesses will come, new opportunities will come. And that is why all these existing enterprises, existing family firms are trying always for new things. Petrol will not be there forever. Now electric vehicles have come up. Now what next to be done? They identified the geo and many other newer areas. They're trying. This is known as basically corporate venture, means corporate itself is trying something new where they can invest and they can see the future of that investment. So corporate venture. So what I'm trying to say here, all these things to be discussed when you're teaching a course in entrepreneurship, because your students should know the broader canvas of entrepreneurship. They should not only think about the startup is all about entrepreneurship. No, startup is one of the ways of doing entrepreneurship. There are many other ways, and they should be oriented about that. Now, what are models we have? These are the models. Means we have online and e-learning and distance learning programs, full-time and regular programs, MOOCs, Moodles, open learning. We all know that, and they become quite popular now, especially in Corona phase. Lot of MOOCs have come up, lot of Moodles have come up, open learning programs have come up. Full-time and regular courses, we have two different unique approaches that I'm going to discuss here: classroom-based learning and project-based learning. Classroom-based learning, where we are using case-based methods, games and simulations-based methods, and videos and films-based methods. Project-based learning says that it is all about the design-based method. You need to design the learning. Means as a faculty, you need to design the whole learning approach, the learning process. Very much unique. And you are the boss of the course as a faculty. Now you have to think about at what level, what student is learning what. Means you need to create certain levels. And through those levels, he is going to graduate himself and going to learn the whole process of entrepreneurship learning. Berkeley method is again quite a case-based method, but these are the models that we have in entrepreneurship. We must be working on the individuals because it's all about the knowledge and skill and aptitude, and we must be instilling innovative thinking, because until unless they are innovative, they cannot come up with newer ideas. They cannot solve the problems. Inculcating design and critical thinking, again, very, very important. Otherwise, they will simply become the followers, and they cannot have their own style of entrepreneurship, style of creating values. So critical thinking, design thinking is a must for every course, every entrepreneurship course when you are making a person entrepreneurial. Risk-bearing capability is required. Risk is always not the financial risk. A lot of risks are there. I hope Professor Shukla has discussed about this risk-bearing capability. And that must be there in any individual who's trying to become entrepreneur and celebrated entrepreneur. He should do that. Empowering with the skills, business knowledge, aptitude, networks. These all must be there when you are working on an individual. So these are I just discussed in the previous slide about the models. These are the things you are going to inculcate in the student. Now, please see this. The data is a bit old. I think about 5-6 years old data it is. But this is the situation. Number of alumni funding companies that received a first round of venture capital funding. We can see here the schools. These are the known schools: Stanford, Berkeley, Pennsylvania, Harvard, MIT, Cornell, and all IITs are also there. Our own IITs. This is not one IIT. All Indian Institute of Technologies. These are there. Still, we are there in the rank. I don't have the current data. We must have achieved some better position now. But I wanted to share this. Why? Why Stanford is there in the first position? Because it teaches its students that it's okay to fail. We can't do that. In standard 1, my son has to score 99%, if possible 100%. In 10th, forget about the seriousness. Oh my God, so serious they are. 10th, 12th, UG. And end of the day, he is going to enter, if at all, in business career, there are only failures, series of failures. So how we can make our students think that failure is a place that just they need to revisit, they need to understand, and again start. We don't have this system in our education. But in entrepreneurship course, certainly you can use this method. You can ask them to start working on the ideas. They may fail on many ideas, and that is how they will learn, because the existing education system has never taught us that it's okay to fail. No, it's okay to fail. No, they never taught us. But in entrepreneurship courses, we need to teach them that it's okay to fail. Please go ahead. Again, try. Again, invent. Again, innovate. Apply your creative thinking. Change the team. Identify your partners. Again, try. These things we need to teach. And this slide tells a lot. Why Stanford, Berkeley, Harvard, they have these big giants. Because they taught that it's okay to fail. We never taught that. We want success at every step. Whatever step we are putting, we need success. We cannot accept failures. That is why we are not allowing our own kids to go for startups, to go for family businesses, to go even situation is very, very bad in family businesses. Even the current generation, they won't allow their kids, their sons, daughters to come and support them. No, they ask that you go better have the education, then we'll discuss about that. Don't allow their kids to come back and try. That is the system basically we are seeing. And through entrepreneurship education, through your course, you can develop a better entrepreneur who will have all those learnings during his course or her course. And once he goes and starts something, he will be certainly facing failures, but he will not mind. He will never mind that, and he will continue with the growth trajectory. Now, when we are talking about the individuals, I think this slide, yes, there is a model of co-creation. Model of co-creation. It is a very known model, and I hope you all know about Professor C.K. Prahlad, Indian professor from IIM Ahmedabad, went to US, become the top thinker in the field of strategy, and he has given this model of co-creation. I'll share this model, and then I will share the insights how this model can be applied when you are developing a course or when you are teaching a student to think about the opportunity. In both the cases, you can apply this model. He has done one experiment with a Nike shoe. The Nike shoe is very costly shoe. We all know in the US it was, I'm talking about some 3 decades old story. The Nike shoe kept a small chip in the shoe sole, and it was for all those who are walking and jogging for the health. What the company did, they kept a chip in the sole of the shoe, sold it to people, those who wanted to have walk and to know how much calories they burn. What happened after that? They came up with a community where everybody can share his or her views about the walks. That, hey, today I walked about 15 kilometers. Today I burned this much of calorie. Tomorrow I'm going to have this much of calorie burned. Who all are going to join me? Like that, everybody who has bought that shoe came to a community, started transacting their own experiences. And when the shoe gets older, which shoe they again bought? They bought the same shoe. They bought the same shoe. When the shoe gets older and wanted to replace that shoe, they wanted to buy the same shoe. They bought the same shoe. Why? The reason was it was a community that helped everybody to come and join and share the experiences. They become one unit. The company gets a lot of insights while seeing the transactions, the interactions the customers are making. That the shoe is good, this sole is good, this should be improved, that should be improved, that quality must have been improved, all these things. And through that, they learned that if you can provide a co-creation model, I hope I'm audible. Anybody can respond me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sir, you are audible.
Thank you. So when the company learned that everybody is transacting and sharing their experiences, it is good to take the feedback from these people and innovate it again and again. And that is how Professor Prahlad has made this model of co-creation, where 4 things, the DART model, this is known as the DART model, D-A-R-T, dialogue, access, risk and benefit, and transparency. If you can apply this any forum, any place, your outcome will be outstanding. I'm talking about a course here. If I'm developing a course and I'm allowing my students to come and contribute, it is a co-creation model. We all are creating together. I and my students are creating this course together. And I'm taking their response, I'm taking their feedback, I'm allowing them everything is accessible, it is transparent, and the dialogue is on and on. Nobody knows whether this course is being taught by Professor Amit Dwivedi or by the students.
Hello, sir.
And the
Hello.
learning will be on the extreme.
Hello, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I just sorry for my interruption. Sir, I just want to ask that there is a modification of this model known as knowledge spillover theory.
I know.
Can you make some points on that also?
I know that, but here I'm referring co-creation. I'm going to use a framework for that. Can you allow me to go ahead?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
I will not use the research, the knowledge spillover framework here, because I'm talking about the co-creation model, the co-creation which was there, and how we can apply this co-creation model in the education or in the development of the product or opportunity.
But the research shows that entrepreneurial curriculum which they have implemented in the IITs and some other institutes, they are not, they didn't boost that much entrepreneurial capability in the students. That
I will take these questions towards end. I will take these questions towards end. Once the presentation is over, I will certainly take these questions. Okay? Okay, thank you. I was on the co-creation model. So when we are allowing our participants or our beneficiaries to participate and redesign, help us to design, certainly it helps a lot. So the co-creation model, when we talk, this model is being utilized a lot. This is known as the double diamond model of design thinking. Double diamond model of design thinking. There are 4 Ds: discover, define, develop, and deliver. Discover, define, develop, and deliver. How to go ahead with this? When you are teaching your student to identify the opportunity, this is the best model to apply. You can apply this in your course also when you are teaching opportunity sensing. How to use that? I will share one experience here. There is a professor in Ahmedabad University. He applies this model in his course. His course name is City as Text. City as Text. What he does, he takes students from classroom to old city area in the morning of Sunday morning. It's quite crowded area, city area. What students are required to do, they need to go there, observe and empathize with the people, with the rickshaw pullers, with the vendors, with the households, with the roadside vendors, all those people. They need to observe and they need to empathize with them. Observe and empathize with them, and then come up with some kind of solutions for them. Some kind of solutions. It may be a water problem, it may be a traffic problem, it may be anything. The first step is to empathize with them and know what exactly the problem is. While observing, while empathizing, and then try to define this problem. Try to understand what actually this problem is. Is it the problem of the water supply, or the problem of not having the pumps properly, or not having the roadside taps properly? What is the problem all about? And why this traffic is happening? Is the road blocked, or what all? So discover, then define it. Then, with the help of understanding, with the help of models, with the help of support institutions, try to develop some solution to solve that problem, and go and test it, whether that works or not. And then again, come back, redesign, redevelop, and again go back and deliver it. What I'm trying to say here, double diamond model tells us that you need to diverge from a point because you're exploring. Again, converge yourself while defining. Again, diverge yourself to develop it. Again, convert yourself to deliver it. And this process will go on and on. When I was talking about the co-creation, basically co-creation is related with this double diamond model. When you allow everybody to participate, when you go back and try to understand, when you give access of your data so that others can also contribute and suggest. And this is the process you can apply to understand the opportunities which are there, to understand the solutions can be developed, to understand how the best products can be developed and delivered in the fraternity, in the students, community, in the society, in the college, anywhere. What my take is, when you have a course in entrepreneurship, try to apply this model in the classroom itself. To your course, let them go and discover, define, develop, and deliver. If they can solve a problem of the campus itself, it's better. They can go and solve a problem of the society, better. But let them work on this model, double diamond model, and apply the co-creation theory here so that they can again apply this learning when they go back and start their own venture. They should not think that whatever I have developed should be foolproof and I will not allow others to come and disturb it. Basically, it is a very, very much open model. Allow everybody to come and suggest, take feedback, improve it further, again take feedback, test it. I will give examples when I come to the value creation, co-creation part, value proposition part, how companies are using this model and how best they are delivering the services and newer products, and they're so successful. When you allow your students to go and understand, give this framework to them. This framework is very, very important and it's available everywhere. It is known as empathy map. Empathy map. If you empathize with the problem, with the customer or with the beneficiary or with the person, like take example of Muhammad Yunus. If you empathize, you can solve the problem in a better manner. Likewise, your student should know how to empathize with the future customer, with the beneficiary. And beneficiary or customer, they never come and say in your face that I have this problem. That you have to observe, that you have to understand. Like if I'm running a store and I'm not keeping good relationship with my customers, what they will do? They simply discontinue my services. They will not come and tell that, hey, we don't like it. No, they won't come. They don't have that practice. They will simply discontinue my services. So I should be vigilant to observe what my customer says, what they see, what they do, what they hear. All these things I should know and I should keep on track. That is why we all know that the vendors, smart vendors, they keep an eye, they observe the behavior of the customer day and night so that they can learn that, they can know that, no, my customer is intact. They're not going anywhere. And if any point they learn that, no, they are going somewhere, they work on that part very seriously. This framework, I'm just giving a framework, you can apply in your courses so that, and students like this a lot. When you give this framework and ask that, identify any customer that you want to work with, go and observe and come back and share the story that you have captured with this canvas. Students will learn a lot. They like a lot. Next canvas is business model canvas. Dr. Bharti told me to discuss this also in the presentation. Business model canvas. Very known and very popular. Almost every campus is using that. And this is unique for existing business, new business, startup, SME, anywhere. Any business that you are thinking, you can apply this model. Basically, there are 9 different boxes from customer segment, relationship, channels, value proposition, activities, resources, partners, structures, cost structure, and revenue streams. These are the 9 things. So any business that you have must have these 9 things. Everybody has these 9 things. Every business owner has these 9 things. It is better to start with the customer segment. When you ask your students to fill this, start from the customer segment. Ask them to identify for which customer they are going to work. That should be loud and clear in the beginning itself. For which customer? Like if you are going to have the school dress. Now, school dress, the end user is the kid, the student, the child. But the segment is school. Basically, school is going to decide that this is the dress we are going to follow. So you need to know who is the segment, customer segment for you. It's very, very much important to understand. Then the next step is the value proposition. Why that customer will buy from you. What unique you have, what value proposition you have, and why that is more important than the competitors. Why people will buy yours and will not take from others. That is value proposition. That you have to very, very clearly identify there. That these are the few things, because of that, I'm going to deal with the customers in a bigger chunk because I'm different. It may be prices, it may be quality, it may be readiness, it may be looks, whatever. That you have to decide. Like few days ago, there was a launch of Apple products, and it was a news. Everybody was quite aware that Apple has launched this series, iPad and all. There are certain values they have created. The value proposition Apple has created, and we all are following because we love those propositions. Basically, the proposition is a variable that gives edge on your competitors. That you have to understand why people will buy from you. So after this segment, you should discuss about the value proposition. Then how this value proposition will be delivered to the customer, the channels. Now, if you see today, Amazon's channel is what? It's website. Through website, we are transacting. We are not going to any store. Through website, we are transacting, and then they have the delivery boys who are delivering the product. The channels, you have to decide, develop what kind of channels you are going to apply. Relationships, why the customer will be there with you always. That relationships you have to maintain. What all you are going to do in the business so that they will not leave you. That you have to write here. Activities, whether you are going to manufacture, whether you are going to outsource, whether you are going to collaborate, how you are going to do the business. Activities. And for that kind of activities, what kind of resources you would need. Like if you are going to have a manufacturing plant, you need machine, plant, labor and all. But when you are going to simply outsource, you don't need machine, plant, labor. So based on the activities, you have to identify what kinds of resources you would need. And accordingly, what kind of partners you would need. Sometimes your partner is your life partner. Sometimes your partner is your colleague. Sometimes your partner is your friend. So who all are the partners? Sometimes the partner is even banks, governments. Who all are the partners you should identify. Then what kind of cost is applied there? Whether the cost is fixed cost, variable cost, all those costs, you have to identify what kind of cost will be applied and who will give the revenue, from where the revenue will come. These are the 9 boxes every student should do while doing entrepreneurship course. It is very, very easy to conduct, and I request every faculty member to apply this in the class, and you'll be surprised that the students have lots of ideas about these things. They have lots of understanding. When you give this, you will get a lot of insights also from the students. So apply this, and this is available everywhere. And you can apply this for existing businesses, means family businesses, as well as startups. Both can apply this. The next part of this canvas is the value proposition canvas. Value proposition canvas. Value proposition canvas says that the customer jobs, means customer requirements, certain customer requirements are there, and you should have those products or services with you so that you can fulfill those requirements. Like if I want to buy a mobile phone and I'm visiting a store, the store should have mobile phones. If I want to take a taxi service, I'm booking through a portal, that portal should have a taxi service. So these are the bare minimum requirements. Customer jobs is there, and there must be some product or service from the vendor side. The value proposition basically who creates it, it's the vendor's proposition. It's a vendor's proposition. And customer wants always more than the product and service. You all know that. We are not happy just with the product and service. We need many more things other than that. And that basically gives edge on the competitors. So if I'm a vendor, I should not give just product and service, but I should give something else. What is something else? I should observe that. I can observe if I have empathy with me. So with my empathy, I have observed that there are certain pains of the customer. Example I'll give here is the taxi service example. We all have faced that example. We all have experienced that example. Whenever we book a taxi, I'm talking about the traditional taxi operators. We call the taxi driver. Where are you? He tells that I'm just 10 minutes away from the place. Okay, good. Again, I wait for 10 minutes. I call him. Where are you? Sir, just reaching. In a few minutes. Again, I call. Why you are not reaching? Where you are? Sir, just I am reaching. There are some failures in the car. I'm coming. These are the pins. When taxi comes, the condition of the taxi is so bad. I don't know why it is. The driver is also not punctual. The car type I have ordered is not there. I ordered something else has come. These are my pains as a customer. I'm paying the full amount, but these are the pains I'm facing day and night while taking the service of a traditional taxi driver, traditional taxi operator. Now, if someone can relieve these pains, someone can solve these pains, I would be more than happy. There are companies that are solving this. They seriously observe that taxi service is there. It is operating from several hundred years. Taxi service was there, is there today. Traditional taxi operators. But the unique thing that we are going to do is we are going to understand the pains of the customers. And they understood so well. Now, when I book a taxi through aggregators, I know where the taxi is. I even cancel the taxi. I have a lot of power with me. In earlier case, the power was with the driver. Now the power is with me. I'm more powerful as a customer. And that is what customer wants. Customer wants a power. Because he's the person who's going to pay. He should have that power. So my pains have been relieved, and also company has created some gains for me. I can give a bad feedback if the condition is not good. I can rate him bad, and that will impact his performance. Also, sometimes I can get some coupons, some discounts, some other benefits. They are the gains for me. So the value proposition now the product is not just taxi service. It is beyond that. It is beyond that. It is coupled with the power, with the flexibility, with the gains. All these things, if you club together, it is the product, and that is known as value proposition. When your students will learn that, they are not simply going to open a store and sell the goods. No, it will not. It will not do. They need to understand the problems, the pains of the customers. They need to create certain gains for the customers. Then only they will survive. Then only you will have edge over your competitors. And putting these two things together, I wanted to tell you that this is how the co-creation concept is being used. Co-creation concept. Again, that I mentioned Prahlad's model, old model, it is being used here. The customer and company together are creating the solution. When I'm giving the feedback, you are reading the feedback. When you are giving the feedback, I'm reading the feedback. Means we together are contributing a lot in evolving the product of the taxi aggregator or any kind of aggregator or any kind of innovative company. They keep customer in the center. They keep their feedback in the center, in the forefront. And with the help of feedback, the model of co-creation, as we mentioned, they redesign, they redevelop, they apply the DOT model, dialogue, access, risk, benefit, transparency, all these things they do, and that is how they rebuild the whole product every year. And we all know that all these startups are changing their propositions so fast. Every day they are adding a lot of things. How they are adding? They are listening from the customers. Their ears are open. They are ready to listen. They are ready to understand the pains. They are ready to observe. And these things we should teach in our courses. When we are preparing a student to become an entrepreneur, we should allow him or her to understand the entrepreneurship in this manner, so that he or she can become a better listener, a person who can take feedback, to innovate, to develop, to go ahead further with the newer propositions. Now I'll talk briefly about the pedagogies. We are 5 minutes late. So educate, stimulate, and incubate. When we are talking about the process and pedagogy, we should have these three things on the campus. We should educate them with all those possible courses, all those learnings that we have, all those models that we have. At the same time, we should stimulate them so that they think about becoming entrepreneurial. And once they start thinking about the entrepreneurial, try to incubate them. So try to support them through co-working space, through co-creation, through mentoring, networking, business plan competitions, accelerations, and start small fundings also to be provided. So educate, stimulate, and incubate is the model which we can apply if we want to make our students entrepreneurial. What all we do? So pedagogical tools appropriate for entrepreneurship education, we do lecture, theory, teaching cases, business model plan creation, business model canvas. Psychometric exercise is very, very important. Dr. Bharti will teach you. Psychometric exercises will help students to push their confidence, and they will learn that what all they need to correct so that they can become a right kind of entrepreneur. Simulations, product service prototyping, role model interactions. We should invite entrepreneurs so that they can also learn that any XYZ can become entrepreneur. I can also be entrepreneur. What we do, what I do generally in my course, I invite my old students who have graduated from EDII itself. I invite them to come and discuss with the current batch students. So the current batch understands that if he or she can become entrepreneur from this course, having 2 years course at EDI, why can't I try for that? Why should not try for that? And that gives a lot of power. That gives a lot of confidence. So invite guest speakers, your own students invite, and then it gives a lot of insights, a lot of power to your current batch students. Discussions and working groups, games and competitions, industrial project-based workshops, study visits, business idea presentations, milestone-based learning. It is again very important and unique feature. If you can identify the milestones that during this 1 year course, what all they need to do, they need to have the PAN card, the Aadhaar unit, Aadhaar ID for the company, have the website, have the logo, have the partners, have the registered form registered. All these things they can do during the course itself. And that milestone, if they are achieving, you should be sure that they are going to become entrepreneurs. So these are the pedagogical tools. What support you can provide? So a small seed fund can be provided to the students so that they can get a boost that, yes, I will get funding, because this is the major hurdle when you talk about the new enterprise creation part, and especially for a student who is simply getting better and better from his parents, her parents, how he or she will invest again. So seed capital grant can be provided from the institute side itself, and holding support from alumni and entrepreneurs. You can also connect alumni and entrepreneurs so that they can frequently visit your campus and they can mentor your students. Network of angel investors and VCs, mentoring network, industrial database research grant, market research assistance, all these things can be provided from the institute side. You can also have idea lab where every 6 months you can conclude the certain ideas and you can put there students interest club, local entrepreneurs club, tinkering lab, prototype lab, startup launchpad, startup incubations, technology business, technology transfer office, and technology business incubator. All these things one can have in the campus so that more and more startups can come. Just one example here, like if you are using some kind of, these are the course contents. For X course content, what kind of suitable teaching and learning model you can apply, and what kind of pedagogical tool you can apply, you can refer with this slide. So, and again, you can, based on your experience, you can develop something else. I'm not saying that this is the truth, but this is what I experienced, that when I go for new product development, I ask them to work as a project-based learning method, and I allow them to go for internship and study a case study method so that they can learn how the new product development can be done. And finally, this is the last slide, how to create entrepreneurial individuals. So you should have case studies, simulations, impact assessment, very, very important. Always keep, assess the impact of your course so that you can revise, you can update. So every year at EDII, we have to update the courses based on the current needs, based on the current requirements. And we observe that what all can be added, seeing the current portfolio of the students. What all new pedagogies can be added, see the current portfolio of the students, and accordingly we have to revise and update it. So I would request everybody to have assessment of your courses, design the course curricula, assess it properly, have the milestone-based learning, and also there is a model of triple helix model. Triple helix model, industry, academia, and government. They come together. If you can make this happen in your campus, it certainly adds a lot of insights to your students. You can identify the government who can support the interventions of your campus. You can identify the industry who can allow your students to go and solve their problems. And that is how academia, industry, and government can work together and can solve the bigger problems. Thank you very much. I think we are 10 minutes late. Thank you very much for listening. Can have questions if you have. Dr. Bharti?
Thank you, Amit, and another speaker is waiting.
Oh,
But
okay.
I think you will share your PowerPoint.
I will share.
I'll send the PowerPoint to participant because participant has to give some test.
Right.
So send it by mail. So today
Okay.
I'll share with participants.
Okay.
You can share your email ID in text chat box.
Right.
Any participant has questions, they can directly write to you.
Okay. Right. That is much better. Yes. So. So I just shared my email ID there. It is akdvivedi@indiaindia.org.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, sir. I have a question regarding the academic models. How far is there any way to check how much these things are getting implemented?
Which one you are talking about?
Teaching, stimulate, and incubate. This because, sir, if I see when the entrepreneurs come with a good intention to the market and they didn't find the ecosystem of the a region that is not compatible with their thought process, then they little bit step back. So regarding that, how to ameliorate these situations?
That is the resilience. I think Dr. Bharti will teach you, because that is how we have to prepare them, so that if they see some odd situation, some adverse situation in the business, and every entrepreneur has to see that reality we have to teach in the classroom also, that he or she is going to have these situations tomorrow in the market. Business, you name any business who is not facing a problem. Everybody has to face, but that is the resilience, that is the mindset they should have to solve those problems, to go ahead with the zeal, the same zeal, and identify the newer ways, newer opportunities, and newer styles of solving those problems. So we have to teach that in the classroom itself. That is my take is. So we have to create similar kind of situations in the class, so that when they go through the course of entrepreneurship, they should know that it is not very rosy situation going to come. It is very difficult task to handle, and they should be prepared for that. And that resilience is all about. You can write a mail to me. I will discuss. I will reply to each and every question. But since the other speaker is waiting, I don't want to spoil the time of the other speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, Raj, are you available?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm here.
Yes. Again, good morning, everyone. And we have a wonderful resource person, Dr. Raj Shankar. He works at the Division of Innovation and Entrepreneurship, Nord University Business School, Norway. He received his doctorate from EDII itself. His research interest is corporate accelerators, corporate entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial ecosystem, and academic entrepreneurship. He has published Journal of Business Venturing, Simulation and Gaming, and Journal of Entrepreneurship. He has authored of many books, book chapter, and cases. He is going to discuss about some entrepreneurship strategy. And again, I am sure you will enjoy his session. So Raj, we have a 73 registered participant. Right now, I am saying 53 only. They all are from across the country, and they all are involved in directly teaching, training, entrepreneurship. And you will also enjoy this interaction. So I welcome you again, please.
Thank you, sir.
Amit is also.
Yeah, I was actually, I joined a little earlier, so I was listening to Dr. Amit's presentation. So it was nice after a long time. So so I will try to share my screen. I don't know. Screen.
Share. Bottom, you can find mute, stop video, share.
Yeah. Are you able to see?
Yeah. You can make it a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Right.
Are you able to see now?
Now, yeah, very good.
Yes. Okay. I cannot see. Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah. Is it moving, sir? The slides? Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much, Dr. Bharati, and to have me again to teach in an FDP program. So the topic that Dr. Bharati actually asked me to talk on is entrepreneurship strategy. So I don't know how many of you teach this subject, but I was a bit perplexed because it's quite difficult to combine these two subjects, though we always try. So at least in the area of corporate entrepreneurship, this is one thing that we often try to study. So I just want to ask you if any of you have some ideas about what you mean by a combination of these two. What do you think it would be? Yeah, Dr. Vasu, or anybody? Does anybody want to say something?
Yes, sir. Good morning. So
Yeah,
I
hi.
think it can be a few ideas which an entrepreneur can use, such strategies which you can relate to a competitor and maybe aid those strategies or find out new innovative strategies in his entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, yeah, that's one
Like
possibility.
for example, we have now White Hat Junior. It became very popular during the season, and suddenly we saw it growing, and we have a news that Byju's has taken it over. So maybe that can be one example.
Okay. Okay. So,
Sorry, sir.
yeah.
Sir, in my perception, it is moreover, if we see entrepreneurship, the term, it is about establishing. And if we go through the term for strategy, it is about re-establishing those initial stage things. And if we see the entrepreneur orientation term, it is more about a strategic term, which says the risk-bearing, proactiveness, aggressiveness, competitiveness, and it is a combination of all those, and which helps to rethink the entrepreneurs how they should move forward in their journey.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that the general tendency is to kind of think of this as the entrepreneur needing some kind of plan or ploy, which is
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, since the entrepreneurship is a ever-learn process.
Yeah.
So since the strategy also, the implemented strategy also, it is for long term, beyond the long-term plan.
Long term. Yeah. Okay. That's a good point.
Yeah. So since it is a maybe the associate with each other, sir. So that's why it is required.
Okay. Okay. That's
so
a good guess. That's a good guess. Okay. So let me. I think you guys already know a lot of it. So I don't know how I'm going to add value to you in this session, but the way I'm thinking of this, or the way I thought about this, is since most of you are faculty members, and I assume you would have to.
Your voice is not coming, Raj.
Audible, sir. Sir, you are not audible.
You are not audible. Yes, sir, you are not audible.
Raj, your voice is not coming. Maybe he will rejoin. Wait for a couple of minutes. Right now he is from Norway. Yeah, now it's fine.
Can you hear me, Sanof?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes,
it's
sir.
fine. Now it's fine.
I can hear you though. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can proceed, sir.
Okay, so let me share the screen again. Can you see and hear my screen? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay. So let me continue. So the intention behind this presentation is to give you feedback on two things or inputs on two things. One is on how to teach the two subjects together and bring some value to class when you teach. And the second is also to see if you can do some kind of research in this area. So I'm trying to use some of these models which are very recent. So just think about it, and if you have questions, we can talk further. So the way I've structured this presentation is to understand entrepreneurship a little bit, and then understand what strategy is. And I want to present today two ways in which you can study this this kind of these two subjects together. So one is, of course, the idea of studying strategic entrepreneurship or corporate entrepreneurship, or however we can look at it. The other is to kind of look at strategy for startups, which is what some of you were already referring to, in the sense, how do entrepreneurs, or do entrepreneurs really need a strategy, and how do they come up with one? And then we can have some discussions about these two models. So I know you already have studied a lot about entrepreneurship, but just I thought I can just introduce an alternate definition. So because as you understand by now that there are multiple ways to see the same phenomenon. It's like having worldviews. So everybody has their own worldview. So there are many definitions to entrepreneurship, many schools of thought and theories. And one of them, which I think is very practical and pragmatic when we study these two subjects together, is Stevenson's definition of entrepreneurship as the pursuit of opportunity without regard to resources currently controlled. So here, if you see a lot of things that you already studied and some new stuff. One is the focus on the central construct called opportunity in entrepreneurship. The second is the focus on resources. And the third is, as you see, not currently controlled, or without regard whether you have access directly to them or not. So entrepreneurship can be defined one way like this. But irrespective of the schools, and then you also will realize that by now you would have heard that this old economist Schumpeter has been spoken about a lot, but then you have a lot of other people in recent times who also are kind of moving the field forward. So opportunity somehow remains the central construct. There are many ways to approach opportunity. For example, you have the discovery school, and also you have the creation school. And then you have, of course, different theoretical approaches. Like earlier, we used to think that entrepreneurship is about setting a goal and then finding the resources, and then kind of making a plan, and then so it's like the more causal approach to entrepreneurship. in recent times, a researcher named Saraswati has come up with the effectuation model, which kind of puts it the other way around, saying that you start with your means, you don't start with the ends. So there are different ways in which you can approach opportunity, but the opportunity debate really is about two things. One is opportunity objective and available in the real world for you to kind of go and identify, or is it opportunity
Raj, again, voice is not coming. Your voice is not coming. You are not audible. Not audible. No. Everything is fine. Only your voice is not coming.
Hello. It seems sir is muted.
You unmute yourself. Raj, unmute yourself. No. No. Sorry for inconvenience. We'll wait for only 5 minutes. If he is not able to join us, then we'll start on the session.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes, Raj. Now I can say something, Raj.
Hello?
Yeah. You are
Can you
audible.
hear me, sir?
You are audible now.
Okay, then I think I will now share the screen again. I hope it works this time. Oops. Share screen. Share. Yeah. Okay, I continue. I hope you can hear me now. So I'll continue from where I stopped. So there is this broad two schools in entrepreneurship research. At least we are still trying to debate about whether opportunities are really created or discovered. And I hope you see the difference, because what you notice is there are some fundamental differences in the assumptions. So, for example, the discovery school assumes that the opportunity is available to the entrepreneur ex ante, whereas in the creation school, it's obviously the opposite. I mean, it says that there is no opportunity available in the world. It's more about the entrepreneur actually socially kind of acting and creating opportunities either with the society or the environment. So irrespective of whichever school you belong to, you realize that opportunity is the starting point for entrepreneurship, and people coming up with ideas kind of actually see how they can actually explore or exploit or create or discover these opportunities and make a new venture. Or sometimes we're also beginning to realize that ventures need not be created for profit, can be created for the sake of solving a social problem. So you can have social enterprises, you can have ecological enterprises that are focused on solving some kind of natural issues like climate change or sustainable entrepreneurship. So now we are beginning to see that entrepreneurship is coming in different forms, shapes, sizes. But irrespective of all that, I think it is the fact that the basics of all this is the ability to identify opportunities. And if you go back to Drucker, you also realize that opportunity starts when you can only identify opportunities when you develop the skill to sense changes. So one of the skills I would also urge you to kind of think about is to see whether people can actually identify changes or sense changes early. And for that, of course, we can go back to Drucker and other things. Okay, so that's a kind of a broad intro to what is entrepreneurship. I will also go to a little bit on strategy just to ensure that all of us are thinking of the same thing. First is strategy is concerned with firms' long-term development. Yes, we all agree. Strategy or strategic, as they say, strategic is a kind of an adjective now used with almost everything, and it's surprising. And you will see that we also use it with entrepreneurship. So we also have strategic HR and strategic marketing and strategic everything, basically. So what has happened to the word strategic is everyone is now thinking that strategic means something important, something for the long term. So basically, strategy as a word has lost its meaning. So just to set things straight, what is strategy? Strategy is more about making choices, and you see that it boils down to the dilemma of human choice, whether it's at the level of the individual or it's at the level of the organization or the firm or as society, a collective unit. It boils down to choice and action, and these you will realize that the theory of human action or human choice gives rise to a lot of possibilities, and strategy is about making those choices and how somebody makes those choices, what influence.
Raj, again problem. Raj, not audible. Not audible again.
I think this is a setting problem. There is some problem in the setting on his system. That is why he's, getting muted repeatedly.
No. Raj, you will give me another time. I'll arrange your lecture again. You are not able to listen? Raj, dear participants, this is the last time he is trying to join. If he is not able to make it, then I'll conduct some psychometric test and I'll send him Zoom link or other link so he can take session tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So only wait for 2-3 minutes. This is the last chance. He is trying.
Sir, can you conduct Raj sir session for tomorrow? The request.
Let's see, because he has to find his time. Today he has time, and there's also difference of a time, 3-4 hours difference.
But it's a request for my participant.
I'll request him. He is trying this time. Within 3-4 minutes, if he is not able to make it, then I'll request him to give us some another time, and I'll send Zoom link or other link, and then from that link I will try to connect. So wait for only 2-3 minutes. Otherwise, we will start another session.
Because strategy portion is very important from.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have kept his session. I know that's why I have kept his session, and also I'll make sure he will complete his session.
At least share his mail so that we can put questions for future.
Yeah, pardon?
Sir, please share Raj sir's mail so that we can put questions for future.
Okay, that I'll do. That I'll share.
Thank you, sir.
That I'll share. Yes, Raj, I am able to see you.
Can you hear me?
Now you can. Now you are audible.
Audible. Okay, let's hope it works. So maybe I can turn off the video for a while then. I don't know if it's not because of internet connection, because I'm on a broadband, so I mean on the university network. So let's hope it works.
You can turn off video and you can start.
Yeah. Stop video. Screen share. I don't know why it's not allowing me to share the video content now, but let me try. Okay. Slideshow. Yeah, this is where we were. So first was the traditional view of looking at strategy as a plan, which means it's consciously intended course of action. Of course, there were a lot of questions about it because this meant you need to know what you're going to face in the future before you start. So because you have to know this before, it leads to a lot of assumptions. So therefore, a lot of people said, no, it's not planning, it's really plowing. So plowing in the sense it's more tactical. So as things happen, you kind of decide to change your plans. And then we move to a more developed form of strategy making, which is more like patterns, which means like you would see companies like Walmart making conscious effort to always do certain types of activities which are cost efficient, or so it's like you choose a kind of a strategy and then you try to have all your actions. There's some kind of consistency behind the actions. And then when Porter came on the scene in the 1980s, I think this position school of strategy started growing. In position school, you kind of identify an industry in which you want to play, and then within that industry, you find a position for yourself. So that's why we always say the competition-based strategy making school, which is what Porter really spoke about, is the position school to kind of entrepreneurship. So which means you need to understand the environment. So you have like 5 forces model and stuff like that. And then you can find your low cost or differentiated positions and so on. And then there is this idea of perspective, which means perception of the world. So somebody looks at the ocean and says it's a resource. Another person looks at the ocean and thinks that it's actually a huge problem for my business. So it's like a perspective school to strategy making. But irrespective of whichever way you make strategy, what you realize is performance is the central construct. So which means you make strategy because you want to win, you want to outperform your peers, your competitors. So strategy has always had this thing at the back that it's about performance. So we try to, as researchers, we try in strategy, they will always try to explain what can better explain performance of a firm. So you will see all the independent variables that are used in research is basically to explain only one DV, which is performance. What are the central debates in strategy? I think, of course, the popular debates are more about competitive and blue ocean strategy. Should you think about competition and make strategy or otherwise? But I think the more deeper debates are about, is strategy deliberate or is it emergent? And this kind of leads us to this discussion of entrepreneurship, because in entrepreneurship, it's very difficult to have deliberate strategy making, because as you kind of start doing things, you realize that things are changing and therefore you need to kind of modify your strategy. So people think emergent school of strategy could also kind of be a starting point for entrepreneurs to think about strategy. And then you will see that Mintzberg wrote about these 10 schools of strategy, and in that he introduced this idea of an entrepreneurial school of strategy. I think that's where really the conversations started. People started thinking that maybe there is something called an entrepreneurial strategy. So the question for me was, is entrepreneurial strategy something that entrepreneurs do, or is it something that entrepreneurial firms do? So then the question leads to, okay, how can we study these two things using the same approach? So obviously we need two different approaches. So therefore, my general reading of the strategy and literatures brought me to at least two ways in which we can look at this. And I think strategic entrepreneurship has been where, as Dr. Bharati introduced, has been one of my areas of interest, which relates to how large organizations which want to be entrepreneurial practice kind of entrepreneurship. So our large companies can also think and act like entrepreneurs is the question. So the focus is predominantly on firms, existing firms, large firms. They typically will have resource munificence in the sense they already have a lot of resources, they have a lot of power, they have distribution channels, they have something, they have the brand and so on. So then the focus is more about optimization driven decision making. So the existing leader can't just say, okay, let me just, it's like asking the CEO of Kodak when the business is doing really well, why didn't you just move to digital? It's very difficult because that person at that position.
Raj, again problem. Raj, you are not audible. Not audible, Raj. May I request participants, should I move for Zoom? If Webex has this type of problem. So,
that may be a better choice.
I think afternoon I'll try my best. I should send you the Zoom link in the lunchtime, and we'll try to join from Zoom only, because
Okay.
I think Webex has some problem. Let Raj will complete anyhow. If he or I request him to again he complete some other time.
Sir, maybe for other sessions also Zoom or some other app will.
That
will be better.
I'll send Zoom link. I'll try to send Zoom link in lunchtime itself.
Because I am sorry to say this, but we are facing a lot of problem almost in every session. So kind of deliberations or.
Government is suggesting only Webex link or this link. I know they have problem with Zoom. I don't know.
Maybe we may not go for Zoom. Is there any better option than this?
I think Zoom is most familiar.
Sir, even Google Meet is good option, sir.
Yes, Google Meet can be a viable option.
So I'll try my best. In lunchtime, I'll send some other link.
One dummy session may be introduced. We'll join you for just 5-10 minutes. Once it is working, then the session can be taken on that platform. That will be better, sir.
Zoom भेजना पड़ेगा. इस पे 4 बार सेशन खत्म हो गया. 4 बार सेशन पर उसका कटा है राज का।
हाँ बहुत इसमें मुश्किल हो जाता है सर, असलियत में लिंक नहीं बन पाता ना, चीजें जो डेलिब्रेशंस होने चाहिए, जो नॉलेज शेयरिंग होनी चाहिए।
नहीं जूम कर सकते हैं। हाँ करेंगे, आज अभी लंच से करेंगे। अभी आपको मैं मेल भी देता हूँ सब। कैसे होगा? सत्या कहाँ है? हाँ उससे कर दो।
Sir, I feel this is more of a, a setting problem. Because, yesterday when I was doing a login from the laptop, it was facing a similar problem. It was not allowing me to log in. I had to join in as a guest then from somewhere.
What can I do? He is inaudible. I can only just send him message. I don't know what problem he has. I can check at our end only. Okay. Raj, leave the meeting. I will check with you and I will give you 45 minutes some time, and then you will complete. Huh? Okay. Right now, I'll send a Zoom link also. Okay. Because I need to send Zoom link all participants first. Then I'll send to you. No? Okay. 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 Not an issue. Huh? Leave it. Huh? Yes, so Raj is not able to make it. Sorry for inconvenience. I have requested him. So he will give me about 45 minutes to an hour tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I'll try to manage his session. So he will interact with us from Zoom link. Right now I am stopping session here, and I'm trying to send you by mail Zoom link if it is possible. So we'll come again 2 o'clock, and we have a session on 2 o'clock. So go and have a lunch, and meanwhile I'll try my best to send you some other link to check your mail. Okay? Sorry for inconvenience. And after lunch, we'll try to join by some other link. I'll send some mail. Within half an hour, I'll send some mail. Okay? It is clear to all?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Huh?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, sir. Yes.
We'll start sharp 2 o'clock.
Sir, we are leaving now.
Also, how can they identify and formulate a business venture team, business venture team? So they have skills for leadership, team building, managing group resources, managing the dynamics at work. Also, they would be able to develop business plans. Again, I would say that development of business plan itself is a dynamic process. Please understand that business plan is not an event. You teach your students to develop a business plan based on the available information, based on the data, based on the product that they want to go, but also be prepared to make amendments as you get newer information and newer insights. To that extent, business plan should be dynamic, should be flexible, and till last day, you submit it to a financial institution, you be open for change. This message which we need to give to our students, teaching.
Hello.
The vision to recognize opportunity where others see chaos, contradiction, and confusion. So somewhere where others feel problems, chaos, they are not able to see the patterns and possibilities. Those who are entrepreneurial, they would be able to identify certain opportunities and realize those opportunities in terms of enterprises. I would like you to understand this. This is a very, very important slide. Integrated model of entrepreneurship development. You can see that this is divided into two parts. First is inputs, second is outputs or outcome. There is a saying that whatever is the input, output also will be virtually like the same. If you look at the last column, which is the desired outcome, that is what do we require? A sustainable venture or going venture. We require value creation. We are able to add some value to the society. We are able to launch newer products or the services. New processes. There is some problem, I think. Some echo is coming. Please mute yourself. All of you, please mute yourself. If you do not mute, then there would be echo and it would be disturbance to everyone. My request is, please keep yourself muted all the time. Maybe at the end we will have some time for asking questions. At that time you can unmute. So we need newer processes, newer technologies. We require profits, advantages, benefits, incentives, and ultimately create employment opportunities, contribute to revenue, contribute to wealth creation, and ensure growth. Extreme right column. This is what we want. How does it come? Let's look at the first column, which is part of the input and the process. Entrepreneurial process is the second. Entrepreneurial environmental opportunities would be there, but those who are non-entrepreneurial or traditional, they may not be able to perceive those opportunities. For that, you require entrepreneurial individuals who would be able to identify certain opportunities based on the scanning, based on the demand-supply gap analysis, or based on the local resource availability or skill availability, or maybe import substitution or export orientation. And for that, they may have to open an organization, develop business concept or business model, that what is in it for others, and mobilize resources. Based on this evaluation or based on this effort, the entrepreneurial process includes identifying opportunity, assessing and acquiring or mobilizing necessary resources, and implementing the plan. This is called entrepreneurial process. And the prerequisite, again I repeat, is environmental opportunities, entrepreneurial individuals. That the capacity of entrepreneurial individual is very, very important. They create an organization, whether it is proprietorship, partnership, joint stock company, one-person company, okay, or even network virtual organization. So any organization that they will have to create and bring on the table unique business models. Business model, that what is the value that we are going to offer, and mobilize resources. This is the process which I have explained to you. And if you want the outcome which is given on the right hand, extreme right hand corner, then there are 3 more steps which are required. If you are able to add value or increase entrepreneurial intensity through innovation, risk taking, and proactiveness. If it is some type of creativity or the differentiation, that how your product is different from others, how your services are different from others, what values it offers. So what is that innovation? Innovation is not necessarily doing newer things, but doing things differently. Okay. And innovation is possible in any management function. Even pricing could be an innovation. Packaging could be an innovation. Let me tell you that you can look at wafers. There could be conventional packaging of wafers, and there could be today's modern packaging like Uncle Chips and several other wafer manufacturers that they offer. So it protects the product, that the wafer doesn't break, and also it gives an impression that the quantity is more, which attracts the buyer. In most cases, it is the child who is going to buy. So what is that innovation that we can identify? How can we add value to our product or the services? In services also it is possible. Like to conventional aviation sector, it was the Delta which introduced no frill airlines concept. That's an innovation. That and similarly it was repeated in our country by Deccan Aviation Airlines by Captain G.R. Gopinath, because he could perceive the need for low cost air travel. That's why today's air travelers require newspaper and food and all that luxury. They require transfer from one place to other, transportation from one place to the other. And that's an innovation that he introduced. Risk taking, as already I defined, and I said that working, implementing on incomplete, inadequate, uncertain information often. Proactiveness, making a newer beginning, taking initiative. When others are still waiting, you are taking the first step so that you can have first mover advantage. So to your entrepreneurial process, if you are able to, your students are able to add innovation, risk taking and proactiveness, the objective or the outcome will be very, very impact making and significant. So remember this integrative model of entrepreneurship, please. So entrepreneurs, as now it is clear, recognize opportunities, aggressive catalyst to change the marketplace, challenge the unknown and continuously create the future. They create opportunities also. There are certain qualities which are required, like they have concept, they have vision, they have a dream. Entrepreneurs' dream is important, that what do I visualize? Scan environment, assess and mobilize risk, that what is the risk and compared to that risk, what are the rewards? So they would like to evaluate risk versus rewards. Mobilizing risk resources, whether it is technical resources, financial resources, human resources, any kinds of resources which they require, financial resources. So what are the sources and what are the strategies to mobilize these resources? And they are able to convert their ideas or the dream into products and people within an organizational context. So organization has to be created. Also, they are able to influence others, champion the concept. They have that the willpower to influence, persuade, convince others to be part of their vision, to support them, to join them, to be their business affiliate, to finance them, invest them, to buy their product. So at every stage they require to influence a wide range of public and partners. Persevere in overcoming obstacles. They have very high degree of persistence, perseverance, that is making repeated efforts till they achieve goals. I would like to cite a shloka from Bhartrihari, a popular Sanskrit poet, who wrote a shloka which illustrates entrepreneurial perseverance or the persistence. It goes something like, Prarabhyate na khalu vigna bhayena nichai, Prarabhyate vigna vihita viramanti madhyah, Vignaihi punah punarapi pratihanyamana, Prarabdham uttam janah parityajanti. It says that there are three kinds of people in the world. Those who are in the lowest rung of the ladder, lowest category. They do not start work because of the hurdles involved. They do not start. So many problems. They are able to see only the problems. Those who are in the middle category, second type of people, they will start with enthusiasm, but whenever confronted with any problems, obstacles, difficulties, they will stop and take a quick U-turn. That is sufficient. Now I cannot. But even if hurdles come repeatedly, those who are entrepreneurial, that kind of persistence those who have, they do not give it up till they complete it. So that persistence we require. Entrepreneurs need to make repeated efforts to overcome the obstacles that get in the way of achieving goals. This is very, very unique to entrepreneurs. And lastly, they optimize profit. Profit is no longer a taboo word. Even for the social enterprises, if you need to work on entrepreneurial concept, entrepreneurial models, you have to find out that what kind of incentive value it is there. How can we optimize? How can we initiate? How can we maintain? How can we aggrandize profit by introduction of products, services, anything? This is entrepreneurial dream. I mean, lastly, you can just see the force of will is fundamental to entrepreneurship. The willpower is very, very strong. And hardly there would be, it says that hardly there is difference between the dream of a crazy person, a mad person, and an entrepreneur. But the difference is that while a mad person cannot convince you to share his dream, the entrepreneur can. So the force of will, the fundamental, the effort, the knowledge that they have, they will be able to do that. Factors affecting entrepreneurial response. There are 5 factors which are important in entrepreneurship, which shape an entrepreneurial response. That what kind of enterprises will be created, where that enterprise will be created. I remember Professor Dwijendra Tripathi, who gave this theory in a book called Oxford History of Business, Oxford Business History. Also, he had written Western history. Business History of Western India. Who was a very, very well noted, renowned business historian, and he has been the founder editor of the Journal of Entrepreneurship brought by EDII, which is being published by Sage Publication and rated very high for its scholarly publication. So what Professor Tripathi in this theory, what he says that there are 5 factors which are important for entrepreneurial response. First is socio-cultural values, religious influences, belief of the society. Entrepreneurs emerge at a place when they find that society encourages them. Societal values, beliefs, support is there. There is an appreciation for entrepreneurship. At times even religious influences are there in entrepreneurship. The kind of enterprises will promote. There are certain communities where certain type of businesses are forbidden. So they would not like to enter into those kind of businesses. So there are values, belief. In Gujarat, there is a saying that nokari etle gulami. So they do not appreciate job employment and they encourage people to be on their own. And it has led to entrepreneurializing the society. So that is very, very important. Second is socio-political structure and condition. Enterprises emerge at a place where socio-political structure is feasible. Condition is feasible for establishment and growth of the management of the businesses. Economic infrastructure and social overhead, the facilities, the communication, education, electricity, road, transportation, internet, credit, all these are very, very important. And the fourth is national goals and government priorities or the policies. Enterprises normally emerge in an area which also have synergy with the governmental policies or the priorities. So chances of success are higher, like information technology, biotechnology, infrastructure. So government priority is there in these days. Demonstration effect. If somebody has demonstrated a success, his or her success motivates others. Success of Narayan Murthy or Ajim Premji has motivated many other youngsters to go for IT kind of business ventures. Contacts and reference groups. If I have certain contact in some sector and I'm confident, or I have been referred by some counselor, consultant, probably I would like to go in for those kind of businesses. So these are the factors based on which a potential entrepreneur identifies or perceives an opportunities, mobilizes various risks, and in expectancy of reward, establishes an enterprise and consolidates it. This is called the process of entrepreneurship. I would also like you to understand that based on this, once enterprise is set up and resources are mobilized or enterprise is consolidated, the process of entrepreneurship is complete. You might have noticed that some enterprises, initially they are very, very successful, but after a few years, they start finding difficulties. Why does it happen? Or some of the enterprises also may be closed down. Because these factors are not static factors. These are dynamic factors. There could be changes in socio-cultural values, religious influences, socio-political structure, or economic infrastructure, or national goals and government priorities, or demonstration. So, since these factors are also dynamic and they keep on changing, it's a matter of change. It is entrepreneurs' responsibility to be sensitive to the changes and find out that how this change is going to impact my business venture. And based on that, there could be newer opportunities. There may be contraction. You may like to contract or close down your business and open another business. So if you are sensitive and respond appropriately on time, the venture continues or the entrepreneur continues. But if you consider that once enterprise is created and this is a static factor and it can continue for long, probably you are mistaken. We have seen until few years back, HMT watches were very, very popular. And today, if we ask you how many of you are wearing HMT watches, hardly few. Because they couldn't understand that watch could also be a matter of fashion. And suddenly, the companies like Titan and others, they came and replaced or dislodged timekeepers to the nation. Typewriter, Godrej used to be a very good typewriter. Remington used to be a very well-known typewriter. So, and many others. So those who have ventured or graduated into word processor or printer, they have survived. But it cannot be the same technology. Okay. Few years back, every gully, every mohalla, every lane used to have video cassette parlor. Where are they? They have disappeared. So video cassette parlor to CD and DVD, and from there now host of other gadgets and storage devices would have come. So we need to understand that in what way market is changing and what is responsiveness expected from me, what can I change? Then your enterprise continues. Okay. These are the specific personality factors we have discussed. Motivation is there. There are two kinds of motives. Sometimes I don't have any other career to fall back upon, so I become an entrepreneur. Or there could be opportunity. Sometimes I don't want to see face of my boss, I become an entrepreneur. Sometimes curiosity, let me explore if it works. Sometimes there is an opportunity, material gain. Now this pandemic has provided many entrepreneurs, lot of opportunities. Until few months back or few weeks back, we were not manufacturing all those things which are required, whether it is PPE kit or mask, N95 mask or sanitizer or sprayer or pesticides or lots of things or immunity booster medicines. Today we have host of such products available today because they have found and they have been sensitive and they tried to benefit from the environmental opportunities. Achievement is more than anything else, and entrepreneurs are driven by the task, challenge, opportunity. Another important observation here is that money they consider as a byproduct, not an end in itself. Money is required. It's an important scorecard. But money in itself cannot be the goal of any entrepreneur. Okay, you need to have some value addition for the society, some innovation, some social problem solving, something else. Strong belief in themselves, believe they can change their environment. Belief in themselves rather than in other factors. Calculated, moderate risk taker, whether it is financial, career, family, or social, or psychic risk. Psychic risk is also very important. If I have been continuously a failure, it will affect my personality also, my psychology also. Narayan Murthy, who was the chairman of Indian Institute of Management governing body, in one of the convocation addresses during that occasion, he said that entrepreneurs are, it is a belief that entrepreneurship has a lot of opportunity cost. And he said that I don't agree. If entrepreneurs always consider opportunity cost, I would have never become entrepreneur because he was working in Patni Computers. So entrepreneur, they have a lot of experiences in every field, every domain, and the kind of value they bring to the society, it could be huge as compared to the risk. Please understand that. Their own growth, their own understanding, they have a 360-degree view of all the functions. As a manager, you may be having a lot of knowledge, but on one function, maybe finance, maybe technology. But what differentiates or adds value to entrepreneurship is their understanding of the entire enterprise. It's a bird's eye view. This itself is a benefit. High tolerance of ambiguity. If you want that everything happens as per your belief, views, your plans, probably entrepreneurship may not be an ideal career for you. It is the entrepreneur who has to often depend on even an external world. And someone who can excel in ambiguity, uncertainty, can succeed as an entrepreneur. Also manage a lot of players of this total ecosystem, be it their partners, be it investors, be it business associates, be it employees, be it customers. So they have to excel in managing all. And in terms, in that terms, we can say that it is not the independence which really is the hallmark for entrepreneurial personality. Those who can manage all these. There are some situation-based characteristics. As I said, that risk may be high when your product is altogether new. Sometimes when you graduate, when you mature to a certain stage, maybe understanding of the environment is equally important. Political skills is not that being associated with a political party. Certainly not. Political skills means you are able to understand the dynamics of the environment, and you have an ability to internalize the external factors like advocacy, working with associations and all that. That is also very, very important. And adaptability and tenacity, like a rubber ball. When you press, it goes back. When you leave, it takes back its own shape. So this tenacity, now the current pandemic has posed a challenge before entrepreneurs, but we are confident that once they are able to operate, once economy is able to provide them the opportunities, they will again bounce back. And that is why most of those who have been forecasting, they forecast quite enthusiastically about next financial year. Dark side traits. They have some of the qualities or the virtues which may not be appreciated all the time. Like if an entrepreneur focuses on excessive need for control all the time, then he or she would not be able to actually contribute to the area where his or her time is required. So tendency to micromanage, that I only do everything, I only meet the customer, I only interview the employees, I only finalize all the tenders, probably that is not desirable. Suspicion, others will steal my idea, that may not be very desirable. You maintain whatever it is called walling off, so that your trade secrets, your researches, your IPR, it doesn't go out. But if you have to invite investment, if you have to mobilize support, you will have to reveal, you will have to discuss. Okay, you can decide only that what to share and what not to share. Impatience, success doesn't come overnight, it takes time. And if you think that every time you need an applause, that whatever you have done, people should appreciate, again it may not be, because you are not in the popularity game. So please understand that. It is for the overall interest of the organization, community, so that you need to understand. And defensive attitude, inability to learn from the environment. You keep on justifying, keep on denying, that is also not desirable. These are risks and rewards in entrepreneurship. Reward is a function of risk, which is the founder's tolerance for taking risk, or the amount that is invested by the founder, or the timing. What is the right time to enter market? Okay. Or time in terms of quantity, how much time you have, or what kind of quality you give to, qualitative attention you give to the work. Decision-making ability and founder's ability to manage a relationship. Very important. There are two kinds of capital which are highlighted. One is financial capital for entrepreneurship, and other is called social capital. At times, social capital proves to be more important than even financial capital, because on the social capital, you can mobilize not only the financial capital, but several other resources. Risk, apart from this, there could be sometimes unwanted, unexpected responsibilities risk, or some specific risk considered with regard to the business that you are going to create. It could be political risk, it could be economic risk, it could be legal risk. So we need to understand that what kind of technology, what kind of business, at which place, whether the environment is sensitive to such businesses or not, okay? Or what kind of changes, forecast you can visualize in the offing, next 5 years, 10 years, what kind of changes. This is a general understanding that if risk is low, reward is also low. It is something like you are in a familiar market among familiar buyers, and you are trying to sell the familiar products. So old product, old market, risk is low, reward may be low. Product is familiar, but you are trying to give it to the newer market, so little more risk, and with the risk, reward also increases. And then newer product and old market, people are known, but you need to convince them that what is the utility value of this product. So risk increases, so is the reward. And finally, if you want to penetrate a newer market with all together newer product, risk is higher, but compared to that, reward is also higher. Lots of new products which come to the market every day. At times we do not know that what this product is. Some products succeed, some products fail, and that's the risk that